Welcome to today's Explainer. Listen, if you are a tired adult, completely exhausted by those wildly unrealistic, get-rich-quick influencer fantasies flooding your social feeds, well, you've landed in the exact right spot. Today, we are totally tuning out that noise. Instead, we're zeroing in on something way more valuable: grounded, sustainable financial stability. We're going to build out a real, practical financial organization tutorial. Basically, the simple method to save, manage, and actually protect your money without completely losing your mind. Right? It is time to stop chasing these impossible standards and start building some real peace of mind.
Okay, so let's dive right into this. Here is our roadmap for today. We'll start with the reality of money, then cover the basics that work, move into security over status, tackle the big question of to buy or to finance, and finally, look at money as relief.
All right, kicking things off with Section 1, the reality of money.
Let's just be brutally honest for a second. The reality of adulthood? It is exhausting. Between work, the kids, keeping up the house, it all just piles up. And smack in the middle of all of that is money management, which, let's face it, usually carries a heavy burden of fear, guilt, and anxiety. And the internet? It definitely doesn't help. It just feeds us this influencer fantasy. Those flashy 30-second clips making millionaire promises and promoting extreme, radical financial experiments. But actual adult reality is a whole different ballgame. Unless you happen to have a secret money tree thriving in your backyard, which I'm guessing you don't, true adult life demands stability way before boldness. You've probably got a family, heavy responsibilities, and real bills to pay. You rely on consistency, you need slow growth, and you literally have an absolute need for stability. So that brings us to a really, really important question. What exactly is adult financial organization? Practically speaking, when you hear that phrase, what pops into your head? Do you instantly picture endless, super stressful spreadsheets? Or maybe you imagine having to restrict literally every single joy in your life just to save a couple of pennies? Well, let's go ahead and completely redefine financial success right here, right now. Based on our source material, adult financial organization is simply this. It's having enough clarity to sleep better at night. Yep, that is literally it. It is not about mathematical perfection. It's not about having an absolute iron grip control over every single cent. It's really just about reducing uncertainties, protecting your future while you actually get to live in your present, all so you can finally get a solid night's rest.
Moving on to Section 2, the basics that work. Let's get into the practical steps.
So if we want that peace of mind, we need a genuinely simple method to save and organize. We're talking no complex financial jargon, absolutely no gourmet investment strategies. Just practical, foundational steps that actually work in the real world. Step 1, know exactly what comes in. Step 2, know exactly what goes out. And Step 3, clearly understand the difference between your fixed expenses and your variable ones. Now I know, it sounds incredibly basic, but honestly, without this baseline clarity in these 3 areas, every single financial choice you make is basically just a gamble. Even if you don't earn a ton of money, having this crystal clear picture allows you to make conscious decisions rather than desperate last-minute ones. And mastering those basic steps, it creates this massive, incredible shift in how you operate daily. See, a disorganized mindset is always reacting under intense pressure. You're constantly running around trying to put out fires. But an organized mindset, that's like building an umbrella before it even starts raining. It helps you anticipate patterns, which massively reduces the need to make those same exhausting, stressful decisions every single day. Ultimately, getting organized isn't about trying to control everything in the universe. It's about successfully protecting your daily energy.
That brings us to Section 3, security over status, and finding that inward peace of mind.
Status is expensive. Security is worth more. Wow. This brilliantly illustrates our core thesis today, because one of the biggest financial traps of adulthood is confusing actual success with outward appearance. The flashy cars, the designer clothes, those perfectly curated lavish trips, these patterns of consumption are almost always designed just to impress other people from the outside. And they often come with a brutally heavy internal price tag of hidden debt and massive anxiety. True security isn't about having an endless, infinite supply of money. It's about having margin. The margin to say no, the margin to weather a sudden crisis, and, again, that vital margin to just sleep without fear. So, the absolutely crucial point here is how we apply this exact mindset to growing our wealth. Investing as a responsible adult means understanding that your primary goal is protecting your family, not chasing the emotional thrill of a high-risk gamble. You really don't need to be checking the markets every single day. You just need to follow a few simple rules.
Diversify your assets, respect your timelines, accept that literally all gains carry some level of risk, and always, always choose consistency over emotion. You got to keep it simple, because honestly, excessive complexity usually just hides insecurity, not actual sophistication.
All right, Section 4. To buy or to finance. Let's talk about securing a home.
Now, this is one of the most substantial strategic choices we face as adults. And we really need to push back against this modern internet narrative that claims buying a house is just some outdated mentality. Because for adults with families and heavy responsibilities, a home provides a deeply crucial layer of predictability. It shields you against the wild instability of renting, and it gives you a real, tangible sense of belonging. Like our source material emphasizes, buying a home isn't just a financial investment. It's an investment in emotional and structural stability that takes a massive, heavy worry right off your plate.
Now, what's really interesting about this breakdown is looking at the strategic differences between paying in full versus financing. Conventional wisdom always says, hey, if you have the cash, buy it outright, avoid debt at all costs, right? But look at how this breaks down. If you pay in full, all your capital is tied up in the bricks of that house. You have very, very low liquidity. So if an emergency hits, well, your house can't pay the daily grocery bills. Financing, on the other hand, surprisingly preserves your liquidity. It protects your emergency reserves. Plus, a lot of mortgages actually come with built-in insurances for things like unexpected unemployment or disability. So when it's used consciously, financing is actually a protective tool, not just a debt burden. It guards you against emergencies so much better than just draining all your cash at once.
And finally, Section 5, money as relief. Let's look at the ultimate purpose of all this.
When it's properly organized, money actually stops being a constant source of tension and transforms into a really tangible tool to actively reduce the friction of a busy household. Money brings true relief when it allows you to outsource tasks during the really hard phases, like paying for a cleaning service or just buying pre-made meals when you're completely overwhelmed. It creates predictability in your crazy routine, it drastically reduces marital and family conflicts, and honestly, most importantly, it offers you options.
I want you to really remember this key takeaway. We are building stability here, not absolute control. Financial maturity isn't about micromanaging every single penny until you're stressed out of your mind. It's about creating a resilient system that gives you the grace to survive life's inevitable chaotic phases. It's a type of organization that's silent. It doesn't show up as loud, ostentatious wealth. It shows up as tranquility on an imperfect day. So, I want you to take a hard look at your own financial setup right now. Ask yourself, does it give you the margin to sleep without fear? It is time to stop chasing the exhausting, fake status of online influencers. Start building real, sustainable peace of mind using the practical strategies we've walked through today. Because in real adult life, tranquility is worth far, far more than any millionaire promise. So, what is your very first step going to be?